I need to confess something to you, gentlemen. There have been moments in my career as a urologist where women have described how a single hug made them more aroused than an entire night of passion. Women have left boyfriends, cheated on lovers, and obsessed over men who never even been with them just because of the way he hugged them. One touch, one placement of his hand, and suddenly she can't stop thinking about him. Most men hug like friends. Flat, safe, forgettable. And that's why she doesn't crave you. But the man who knows these psychological and biological triggers, he doesn't just hug her, he imprints on her body. He makes her feel something she can't explain but can't ignore. I'm Dr. Lila Romano, and I've been a practicing urologist for over a decade, helping men reclaim their confidence and vitality. And today, we're talking about something that goes far beyond technique. We're talking about connection. Here's what we're covering. First, why most hugs fail and the 3 biological triggers that turn a simple hug into an obsession. Then, specific touch techniques backed by neuroscience that make her replay the moment for days. And finally, the most dangerous move that leaves her craving you when you're not even there. This first part takes about 90 seconds, and it'll completely change how you understand female desire and the power of intentional touch. Let's start with why most hugs are completely forgettable and, more importantly, what you can do differently starting today. Every woman can feel it instantly, the difference between a man who snatches her into a hug and the one who pulls her in slow, steady, and calm. When a man rushes, it feels desperate, almost like he's afraid she'll slip away. His energy is frantic, his movements are quick, and his grip feels like he's trying to hold on to something he's already losing. But when he draws her in gradually, like he already knows she'll come closer, like there's no question about it, her body softens without permission. Now, here's where it gets interesting from a biological standpoint. That patience doesn't just feel confident. It feels dominant in a way that turns women on. And I'm not talking about aggression or force. I'm talking about calm, grounded masculine energy. The kind that says, I'm not in a hurry. I know exactly what I'm doing. The psychology here is simple, but most men miss it completely. Women are hypersensitive to pacing. Their nervous systems are constantly scanning for safety signals, and pacing is one of the most powerful indicators. But wait, there's something else happening here that most men miss entirely, and it has everything to do with where you place your hands once she's close. This next part determines whether she feels attraction or whether she files you away as just another nice guy. Most men avoid that area entirely. They stay high on the shoulders, where it feels safe, where it feels platonic. And that's exactly the problem. Shoulders are where friends hug. Shoulders are where you hug your sister or your colleague. But the men who confidently take the lower back, they separate themselves instantly. They create a completely different energy. Now, here's the key. This isn't about being aggressive or inappropriate. It's about firm, calm placement that communicates strength without crossing boundaries. From a medical standpoint, this kind of touch also triggers oxytocin release, the bonding hormone. When she feels that protective touch on her lower back, her brain releases oxytocin, which creates feelings of trust, safety, and connection. That's not manipulation. That's biology. And when you understand how to work with her biology instead of against it, everything changes. Here's what you need to do. When you pull her in, let your hand naturally settle on the small of her back, just above her hips. Not too low, because that crosses into inappropriate territory and sends the wrong signal, but not so high that it feels like a buddy hug. Firm and calm. That placement tells her she's with a man, not a boy. And once she feels that strength, that grounded presence, she won't forget it. That imprint stays with her long after the hug ends. And speaking of endings, most men ruin the moment without even realizing it. They hug, they pat the back twice like they're congratulating a teammate, and they let go too quickly. Let me tell you what that communicates to a woman and why it's costing you more than you think. To a woman, That quick release feels cold, forgettable, like he couldn't wait to pull away. Like the hug was an obligation, not a desire. But the man who holds just a little longer, just 1 second, past the expected release, creates a ripple effect in her mind and body that she can't ignore. Here's what most people don't realize. Women are wired to notice subtle timing. It's part of how they read emotion, intention, and interest. When you break that expected rhythm, her body reacts. If you go too soon, it feels like rejection, like you didn't want to be that close. If you hold a little longer, it feels like desire, like you didn't want to let go. That extra second forces her to wonder, did he want more? Was he feeling what I was feeling? Why didn't he let go right away? That question sticks. And it's the question that turns ordinary hugs into obsession. Because now she's not just remembering the hug, she's analyzing it, replaying it, trying to figure out what it meant. And the more she replays it, the more she thinks. About you. Let me give you the exact timing here, because precision matters. Most friendly hugs last about 3 to 4 seconds. That's the social norm. That's what feels comfortable and expected. What you're going to do is hold for 5 to 6 seconds. Just 1 or 2 seconds longer. That's it. It's not a dramatic difference. You're not clinging. You're not gripping. You're just holding presence. For 1 extra heartbeat. Here's your rule. Don't grip, don't cling, and don't smother. Just hold a beat longer than normal. Then release calmly. That slight delay will feel like an unspoken desire. She'll be the one, replaying it, wondering why it felt so different, why her body responded the way it did. And trust me, she will replay it. Now keep this in mind, because it connects directly to the next layer, and this is where things get even more powerful. When your face and breath brush against her neck, her body reacts before her mind can stop it. And this reaction is pure biology. The hug that feels normal, routine, until his cheek brushes against hers or his breath grazes the side of her neck. That tiny, almost accidental touch is lethal. It bypasses logic completely. Her body reacts before her mind can control it. A shiver down the spine, goosebumps spreading across her arms, a sudden warmth low in the stomach. These aren't things she decides to feel. They're automatic, biological responses. Here's why. The neck is one of the most sensitive areas on a woman's body. From a medical standpoint, the neck has an incredibly high density of nerve endings, particularly in the C2 through C4 dermatome regions. These nerves are directly connected to the parasympathetic nervous system, which controls arousal and relaxation. When you stimulate this area, even subtly, you're triggering a cascade of physiological responses that she has no conscious control over. The neck is also intimate and vulnerable. It's a place she doesn't let just anyone near. When a man's face gets close to that area, it signals a level of closeness and trust that goes beyond friendship. Most men avoid it entirely because they don't want to cross a line or make things awkward. But the man who lets his face linger close, not in a creepy or forced way, but with calm confidence, creates tension so thick it lingers for days. Now, here's something men over 50 need to pay attention to. Scent matters more than you think. When your face is that close, she's going to notice how you smell. Clean, subtle, masculine presence, maybe a light cologne, clean skin, fresh breath, makes a massive difference. You don't need to drown yourself in fragrance, but you do need to smell like a man who takes care of himself. That small detail amplifies everything else we're talking about. Here's your rule. Don't force it. Let your face get close naturally as you draw her in. Breathe. Steady and calm. Let the warmth of your skin graze hers for just a moment, then pull back as if nothing happened. That single brush, that moment of proximity, is enough to haunt her. She'll feel the ghost of your presence on her skin hours later. But here's where most men completely sabotage themselves. They ruin this entire buildup with one mistake, and it happens in the middle of the hug when tension is at its peak. Let me explain what I mean. Let me clear up a massive misunderstanding about what happens during the hug. Most men kill the moment with words. They hug, and then instantly they say something. You smell nice. I missed you. Or even worse, a nervous joke to break the tension. And the second they do that, the hug loses all of its charge. All of that buildup, all of that tension, gone in an instant. But the man who hugs in silence, who just holds her without saying a word, that man makes her lose her balance. Because silence forces her to imagine what he's feeling. And women are addicted to meaning. They need to interpret, to analyze, to figure out what's happening beneath the surface. When you stay silent, you starve her of clues. And that uncertainty turns into obsession. Think about what's happening in her mind during a silent hug. Is he thinking about me? Is he turned on right now? Does he want to kiss me? Why isn't he saying anything? What does this mean? That loop doesn't stop after the hug ends. It follows her all day. She'll bring it up in her mind while she's working, while she's driving, while she's lying in bed that night. That silence creates a void, and her imagination rushes in to fill it. Now, I know what some of you are thinking, but Dr. Lila, staying silent feels awkward. What if she thinks I'm nervous or uncomfortable? Here's the truth. If you're breathing calmly, if your body is relaxed and grounded, the silence won't feel awkward. It'll feel intentional. It'll feel like quiet confidence. Here's a technique that helps. As you're holding her, focus on your breathing. Slow, deep breaths. In through your nose, out through your mouth. This does two things. It keeps you calm and present, and it prevents you from filling the space with nervous chatter. Here's your rule. Don't fill the silence. Don't break the tension with words. Hug her, hold steady. Breathe slow and let the moment breathe. When you stop trying to explain yourself, she's the one who will explain you in her head over and over until she's hooked. And while we're on the subject of things most men do wrong, let's talk about what happens as the hug is ending. Because this is where one subtle shift can turn a forgettable moment into something she can't stop thinking about. Most men hug like statues. Arms stiff, hands frozen in place. Safe, polite, forgettable. But when a man moves with intention, even in the smallest way, it changes everything. One of the most dangerous touches during a hug is when his hand slides just slightly across the top of the back, or across the shoulder blade as he pulls away. That little movement feels deliberate. It feels like he meant it. Remember this because we'll come back to it. A slow hand sliding across her shoulder doesn't feel like an accident. It feels like you wanted her to notice. That tiny shift transforms the hug from friendly into charged. And because it's subtle, because it could have been unintentional, her mind replays it, trying to decide, did he mean that? Was that just a hug, or was that something more? The key here is slow, deliberate movement, not a quick pat, not a nervous fidget, a calm, steady slide as you release her. The pressure should be gentle but firm enough that she feels the pat your hand takes across her body. That tactile memory, that ghost sensation, stays with her long after you've let go. She'll feel the echo of your touch on her skin, and that phantom sensation keeps you in her mind. Here's your rule. Don't stay rigid. Let your hand move slowly and deliberately as you break the hug. A gentle slide across the shoulder or back as you release her tells her body that the hug isn't over, even when it is. That lingering touch creates a sensation that she'll keep feeling when you're gone. It's like leaving an energetic imprint that she can't shake. Now, while we're talking about the quality of your touch, there's one more layer that separates the men who create attraction from the men who just hug. And it has everything to do with the balance between strength and tenderness. Every woman secretly wants both strength and tenderness. Most men get it wrong by being all one or the other. Too soft, and it feels weak, like you're unsure of yourself. Too firm, and it feels aggressive, like you're trying to prove something. But the man who blends the two, he creates the kind of hug that makes women melt. And this is especially important for men over 50. You're not trying to prove you're the strongest guy in the room anymore. You're demonstrating confident masculinity. You know your own. strength, and you know how to modulate it. A firm arm around the back makes her feel protected and contained, like she's in a safe space. But a softer hand, maybe on the shoulder or lightly moving across the upper back, adds a layer of care and intimacy. That combination tells her you're strong enough to hold her, but soft enough not to hurt her. And that balance is addictive. It's the difference between a man who just knows how to hug and a man who knows how to make a woman feel something deeper. Here's your rule. Mix your energies. Hold her steady with one arm, firm and secure, while letting the other hand move with subtle softness. The contrast creates tension that her body can't resolve. One side feels like protection. The other side feels like tenderness. And tension is what keeps her craving more. When you can hold both of those energies simultaneously, you become unforgettable. But now we get to the part that changes everything. This is the technique that women can't resist, and it's also the one that most men are afraid to try because it requires confidence and restraint in equal measure. The hug that makes her crave you when you're not even there. It's not about holding longer. It's about letting go first, before she's ready. When you break the hug while her body still wants it, while she's still leaning into you, it creates an ache she can't shake. And that ache is what turns a moment of physical touch into days of mental obsession. Women are wired to desire what's withheld. This isn't a flaw or a game. It's biology. If you give everything instantly, if you hold until she pulls away, she enjoys it, but she doesn't obsess over it. But when you stop short, when you end the hug before she does, you leave her suspended in tension. And that tension fuels imagination. She replays the hug in her mind, wondering why you pulled away first. Did he want me but control himself? Did he feel the same spark I did? Why didn't he hold me longer? These questions loop endlessly. And every time she asks them, she's thinking about you. She's craving you. This also ties into masculine leadership, which is something men over 50 need to reclaim. You're not waiting for her permission. You're not asking if it's okay to let go. You're setting the pace. You're in control of the frame. And when she feels that, when she realizes that you're the one guiding the interaction, it triggers something primal. It tells her that she's with a man who knows what he wants and isn't afraid to act on it. Here's your rule. Always be the one to end the hug first. Not abruptly, not coldly, but with calm certainty. Pull away with confidence, like you're the one setting the pace. That small act of restraint tells her body that the hug isn't hers to control. It's yours. And the moment she realizes that, she won't stop thinking about you. Practice this. It might feel uncomfortable at first, especially if you're used to waiting for her to pull away. But trust the process. The discomfort you feel in that moment is exactly what creates the attraction she feels afterward. And here's where it gets even more powerful, because what you do immediately after the hug can amplify everything we just talked about or completely kill it. Let me show you how to extend the intimacy even after your arms are no longer around her. Most men ruin the afterglow of a hug. They pull away, look down, check their phone, or mumble something awkward to fill the space. But the man who lets go and then locks eyes for just 1 second longer than feels comfortable leaves a mark that burns. That stare makes her feel like the hug didn't end. It makes her feel like he's still holding her, even when his arms are gone. Eye contact is intimacy. It's vulnerability. And when paired with touch, it becomes electric. A hug, followed by that deliberate, lingering look feels like desire. It forces her to imagine everything. You're not saying out loud, "What is he thinking? Did he feel that too? Why is he looking at me?" Like that. Her mind races to fill in the blanks, and in doing so, she creates a narrative where you're the main character. The science behind this is fascinating. Prolonged eye contact triggers the release of oxytocin and dopamine. Oxytocin creates bonding and trust. Dopamine creates pleasure and reward. When you combine physical touch with sustained eye contact, you're essentially creating a neurochemical cocktail that makes her associate you with feelings of safety, pleasure, and desire. Here's your rule. Don't rush to kill the tension. After you release her, hold her eyes just one. Heartbeat longer than normal. Not a stare down, not a glare, just a calm, steady presence. Then, let her break it. Let her be the one to look away first. That 1 second will stick in her mind far longer than any words you could have said. It tells her that you're comfortable with intensity, that you're not afraid of intimacy, and that you see her. Now, I don't want you to try all 9 of these techniques at once. That's too much. You'll be in your head, overthinking every movement, and she'll feel that tension. Instead, here's what I want you to do. Pick 2 or 3 techniques to focus on first. Maybe start with pacing and lower back. Placement. Get comfortable with those. Let them become natural. Then add silence. Then add the lingering hold. Build progressively. Now, here's what to observe. Watch how she leans back in, even slightly. Watch how her breath catches for just a moment. Watch how she keeps looking at you differently, with curiosity, with interest. That's when you know it's working. That's when you know you've created an imprint. Now drop a comment below and tell me which secret shocked you the most. I read every single one of your comments, and your feedback helps me create content that actually serves you. This is Dr. Lila Romano, and I'll see you in the next video.